You are not the most intelligent species that ever had a chance to rule this planet. You are just the one that got lucky. 65 million years ago, a rock the size of a city, traveling at 40,000 miles per hour, hit the Earth. And in that single moment, the most successful animals that ever lived were erased. They had already survived for 165 million years. Humans have existed for 0.3. So the question is not whether dinosaurs were dominant. The question is what happens to this planet if that rock misses. What happens to you if dinosaurs never went extinct?
Most people picture the same thing instantly. Giant T-Rexes stomping through cities, Brachiosauruses eating skyscrapers, humans running and screaming. That is not what would have happened. Not even close. Because if dinosaurs never went extinct, there would be no cities, no skyscrapers, no humans to run anywhere. We would not exist. Not because dinosaurs would hunt us, because we would never have had the chance to evolve in the first place. But here is where it gets genuinely strange. Science now believes that if that asteroid missed, the planet would not just have more dinosaurs. It would have something far more unsettling. Something that took 165 million years.
To understand what that means, you have to understand what dinosaurs actually were. Not the slow, stupid, cold-blooded lizards that old textbooks described. That image was wrong, almost completely wrong. In 1964, paleontologist John Ostrom dug up a dinosaur in Montana called Deinonychus. What he found shattered everything. This animal had a large brain relative to its body. It hunted in coordinated groups. It used its body like a tool, efficiently, precisely, with what looked like deliberate strategy. It was warm-blooded. It was fast. It was smart. And it was 110 million years old. Which means dinosaurs had 110 million years before the asteroid even hit to develop intelligence, coordination, and social behavior. We had 300,000 years and built civilization. They had 165 million.
In 1982, a Canadian paleontologist named Dale Russell asked a question nobody had seriously asked before. He took Troodon, one of the most intelligent dinosaurs ever discovered, and ran the numbers. Troodon had the largest brain-to-body ratio of any dinosaur found. It had binocular vision like a predator, it had grasping hands, it walked upright on two legs. Russell asked, if Troodon had continued evolving at the same rate for another 65 million years without the asteroid, what would it look like today? His answer is one of the most disturbing things ever published in a scientific journal. He built a model. He called it the Dinosauroid. It stood upright. It had a large round skull to house an expanded brain. It had three-fingered grasping hands. It had forward-facing eyes. It looked almost like us. Not identical, not human, but unmistakably intelligent, unmistakably a tool user, unmistakably aware. Because evolution doesn't invent intelligence, it discovers it. And once a lineage starts moving toward it, 65 million years before we arrived. But the Dinosauroid is only one piece of what a surviving dinosaur world would actually look like. Because it wouldn't just be one intelligent species. The Cretaceous period was full of dinosaur lineages all evolving simultaneously. Some were already developing complex social structures. Some were already showing early communication behaviors. Some were already using tools in a primitive sense. 65 million more years of that doesn't give you one Dinosauroid. It gives you an entire planet of competing intelligences, all with 65 million more years of evolution than anything that exists today, including us.
So where do humans fit in this world? We don't. Here is the part that most people never think about. Mammals existed during the age of dinosaurs. We were there the entire time. Small, nocturnal, hiding in burrows and hollow logs, spending 165 million years literally living underground and only coming out at night to avoid being eaten. The only reason mammals exploded in size, diversity, and intelligence after the asteroid hit is that dinosaurs were gone. Every ecological niche suddenly empty. Every food source suddenly available. Every patch of daylight suddenly safe. Without the asteroid, mammals stay small.
Mammals stay hidden. Mammals stay irrelevant. For another 65 million years, the smartest mammal on the planet is probably something like a rat, living underground, coming out at night, hoping not to get eaten by something that has been here 165 million years longer. That is where you would be if that rock had missed. Not at the top. Not anywhere near the top.
Now think about what that actually means. Everything you consider human achievement, language, art, science, civilization, every building, every invention, every idea ever written down, exists only because of a random rock. Not because humans were destined to rise. Not because intelligence was inevitable for us. Not because we were the best option the planet had. Because a 6-mile-wide asteroid happened to be on a collision course with Earth on a specific Tuesday 65 million years ago. Move that asteroid 2 minutes earlier in its orbit. It misses. And the planet that exists today has been shaped for 230 million years by a lineage so successful, so adaptable, so dominant, that it survived 5 mass extinctions before the 6th one finally caught it. A lineage that, given 65 million more years, almost certainly produces something that looks at its own world the way you are looking at yours right now. Something that wonders where it came from. Something that builds things. Something that asks questions.
Here is the part nobody talks about. We call the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs a catastrophe. And for them, it was. But for every mammal that survived, for every primate that eventually climbed down from the trees, for every early human that picked up their first stone tool, it was the only reason any of it happened. The extinction of dinosaurs was the single greatest gift ever given to mammals. A gift none of us asked for, a gift none of us deserved. A gift that arrived as a fireball visible from the other side of the planet. You are here because something magnificent and terrible was erased. You are here because the dominant species on this planet did not survive. And somewhere in that fact is something worth sitting with. Every single human achievement, every civilization, every discovery, every moment of
Beauty or kindness or genius our species has ever produced, built on the grave of something that had been here 550 times longer than we have. The dinosaurs did not fail. They simply ran out of time before something random arrived. So did we get lucky? Or are we next?